Whoa, snitches. One of you sat there on one of our previous videos and said, man, I can't wait till they do an NBA video. So guess what George did? His motherfucking homework.
Yeah.
For the NBA. And let me tell you how I broke it down.
Shit starts real soon.
These teams we're talking about, we're going to talk about them in the order in which they made the playoffs last year. So seed 1 through 8 on the East, and then seed 1 through 8 on the West.
Niggas gonna choke to death. I'm sorry, man. But the whole time we've been taping tonight, George, this guy's so ghetto-fied. Like he's so fucking tired. This shit's just coming out of his mouth that is like straight ebonics. Don't ever talk about the black. Maybe you're doing it because it's a basketball video and you want to feel like, you're getting a little bit more in tune with the people from the urban communities. Anyway.
I've been in Philly too long.
Probably.
We're going to start with the NBA East.
I'm good.
And the number 1 seed last year was the Bulls.
Yeah.
In my opinion, the biggest concern with the Bulls is not that 7'5" fouls they signed, because I don't understand why they signed him.
Right.
And I can't even begin to pronounce his name. Krilo Fresnico. Yeah, there's a reason he was still there on waivers and 7 foot tall and no one wanted him. He couldn't make the Jazz squad.
Yeah.
But here's my thing. Derrick Rose tore his ACL in the playoffs.
Yeah.
That's usually a year to recover.
Yeah.
Unless you're Adrian Peterson.
I mean, yeah. Which he's
not.
Nothing short. He's not. And the thing is that Adrian Peterson sits on the sideline when the defense is out. Adrian Peterson is not moving up and down. He's not. It's just a completely different game.
Luol Deng busted up his wrist, and Joakim Noah busted up his ankle. Now, both those guys did that, and instead of getting surgery or getting it fixed, they both went to go play in the Olympics. I don't think Noah did, but I know Deng did. And his shooting was horrendous.
You got your 3 best players on that team fucked up.
Right. And the 2 of them have done nothing to get fixed.
Nope.
So me personally, I think Bulls are going to be middle of the road.
Who's your starting 5?
I did projections.
Okay.
The projected starting 5 today.
Right.
Heinrich, Rip Hamilton, Luol Deng, Carlos Boozer, and Joakim Noah.
Now, this is the thing. A lot of people, you guys who are not are sleeping on basketball or fucking it's the 1st of October as we're filming this. In 30 days, the season starts. No, 29 days. The season starts. We're not even talking preseason. We're talking the regular season. It's the fall now.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just pumpkins aren't the only round thing that are orange going to be bouncing around. I mean, you know what I mean? Shit. Anyway, let's roll on to your boys.
Twoway.com.
Yeah. The Heat. That's George's squad, as you can probably tell by his excitement. And so what do you say? I mean, obviously, Wade is going to be limited in training camp. He's just coming off a knee surgery. They signed Ray Allen and Rashard Lewis.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter.
No. And Miller's back. And Battier's back. The whole team's basically back.
They're so deep.
How deep are they, Kevin? Balls?
They're balls deep. They're super balls deep, a 16-inch cock balls deep.
Wow.
I will say this. You can say all that depth to the bench and everything. The thing that's the most scary about the Miami Heat is that now LeBron has the monkey off his back, and I think he's just going to try to rip everyone in the NBA a new asshole. And I don't like saying that because I'm obviously not a Heat fan. But, hey, man, LeBron's the best player in basketball without a doubt right now. And
I'm not even going to sit here and argue that with you because I agree.
Yeah, and so
to me, the cog on this engine that I think is going to keep this team going and keep them going the right way.
My man said call on this engine.
Is the 2 point guards, Chalmers and Norris. Those 2 guys are going to be the 2 guys, and I think it's one more year to get comfortable. It's one more year to, and let's face it, Ray Allen is just going to be quiet, stand in the corner, and knock down threes.
Right.
Teams in the playoffs last year had a problem with Battier and Mike Miller.
Oh yeah.
What are you going to do with Ray Deadeye Allen? I mean, dude, it's a wrap.
Did you say Deadeye Allen?
Deadeye.
Is that a nickname you made up?
Yeah. Why?
Don't let that shit be in Wikipedia next to me because I will fall off this chair.
Dude, that would be hilarious. Dude, he's nasty as hell from 3-point land.
He is actually. I mean, does he got the record now, right?
Yes, all of them.
Yeah. Now let's move on because we don't need to talk about the Heat anymore. The Pacers. They were the surprise team, breakout team in the East last year, I think.
And their goal was to improve their bench. And I guess in a way they sort of did it by picking up Ian Mahanamanimini and DJ Augustine and Gerald Green.
Yeah, DJ Augustine and Gerald Green. I mean, their projected 5 is what? George Hill, Paul George, Granger, David West, and Hibbert. which like.
And the reason I put those guys out there is because it gives them a good balance of offense and defense. With Hansborough can step on the court and start at any time, but he's limited on one end of the floor or the other.
Now, what do you think about, like, was it last year, and someone can correct me if I'm wrong, that Bird stepped down from his position? Was it last year?
I think it was the end of last season.
End of last season.
They're going to miss him.
They're going to miss him. I mean, Larry Bird is just great at everything he's done at every level, and I'm wondering if this will affect the organization to some degree.
Same head coach, same players. They've added a couple pieces. They'll be okay, but the East is weak because there's at least 2 teams in this 8 that won't be there.
Yeah. I'm going to tell you what. The next team we're going to talk about are the Celtics.
What is wrong with Kevin Garnett? Did you see that? Kevin Garnett said, I'm not on speaking terms with Ray Allen anymore. I removed his number from my cell phone. Ray Allen's like, okay, whatever. He's like, I don't have time to worry about KG. And Dwayne Wade's like, good, you don't need to be talking to my teammates. Seriously, dude, grow up. Grow
Kevin
the fuck.
Garnett just gets...
And to me, and it's just, it hit me in the head the other day. I'm watching an NBA commercial, and it's Westbrook and Durant in a commercial with Chris Bosh. And I'm like, you'd never see that.
Right.
You would during their playing time, you would never see Bird, Magic, Isaiah Thomas, any of them doing a commercial together. It's just showing what the new younger generation in the NBA is like. They're like, yeah, cool, we're going to go at it on the court, but we're also good friends off the court, and it's not that big of a deal. And I think Kevin Garnett is still kind of that old school kind of like, yo, dog, I ain't roll like that, man. Fuck that shit. I'm not talking to him. I'm like, come on.
That's been
that.
KG's attitude. I mean, he's always came at everybody like that. It's like, you're on my squad. If not, you're the enemy. I mean, that's how he's always been. I think he's got a lot more things to worry about than his relationship with Ray Allen, because I think this will be the year that the Celtics struggle like shit. I mean, I know they added Darko Milicic.
That man was the number 2 overall pick, and he's amounted to nothing. He went on thing. He's like, I'll play for any team I can. If I have to kill someone on the court, I will. That's a direct fucking quote. That man is the human victory.
I just think Ray Allen was good. Gave you the best outside presence. I think Paul Pierce is the man on that team still.
I disagree.
Rondo. I mean Rondo. I'm sorry. I forgot. I always forget about Ray Allen. He's number 1. Paul Pierce is 2. KG is starting to struggle. I just think, man, they're going to have a tough time, man.
They'll make the playoffs, but I think they'll be a 7 or an 8. They will not come in at 4.
No.
Because they came in at 4. Now, this team right here, I think, is going to be causing more problems than any other team besides the Heat in the East. That's just me.
Yeah.
The Hawks. The Hawks unloaded a shit ton of money. They got Danny Ferry in from the Cavs. And Danny Ferry as a GM is obviously a very smart man because he got rid of Joe Johnson and he got rid of Marvin Williams.
He's like, I don't got time for this stupid shit. He doesn't. Danny Ferry's definitely like no-nonsense guy.
They tied up 2 things, money and the ball.
Yep.
Yeah. So now he's unloaded their contracts, and now he's basically built the team around Josh Smith and Al Horford. So it should be interesting because those are your 2 low post power players, and your the other guys who are going to accompany Smith and Horford on the court is Jeff Teague, Lou Williams, and Anthony Morrow.
Right.
Look, I am not an NBA. I can honestly tell you, out of those 5 people, I know 2.
Right.
I'm not even going to fake it. I don't. Maybe by the end of the season or even midway through, I'll know who the other 3 are.
Well, it's a younger squad, definitely. I mean, Teague, Smith, and Horford are the standouts, But, I mean, it's, Danny Ferry's about, okay, I'm going to build it. And, I mean, speaking of rebuilding and everything, we're going to roll right into the Magic. I mean.
What's my note? What's the note I wrote?
I'm looking at these notes, and George had Superman is gone, so are their playoff hopes. And you couldn't be more accurate.
They're done.
I mean, they're done. I for now. But, I mean, they've really. And they said, I mean, their whole plan was, we're going to scrap this team and we're going to start rebuilding. And they're going to start bringing in the youth and using draft picks and stuff. So it is a wrap this year. I mean, they're a stretch to make the playoffs, in my opinion.
Be happy they're in the East.
Now, I will say this. If they do make the playoffs, then they're on to something because they'll be adding a lot of talent over the next few years. Now, the Knicks, they still have Carmelo. Shoot first, team second. And you nailed that one, too. George has some good fucking notes. Their projected 5 is who?
Raymond Felton, Ronnie Brewer, Carmelo, Amari, and Ty Chandler. I personally love Tyson Chandler.
Right.
That man brings his lunch pail to work, old school Dennis Rodman, Bill Laimbeer, playing defense. And explain to me how he got Defensive Player of the Year last year. It was so weird. What did he win? Oh, he won Defensive Player of the Year and didn't make the all-defensive first team.
Right.
That doesn't make any fucking sense.
Well, this is the thing, man. And this will you base this list on who made the playoffs last year, right?
Yeah, I'm just going with the top 8. That's all I'm going with.
This is what's interesting, and I'll say this because interesting. You guys can watch me actually have a stroke, but this is what's interesting.
You'll get it.
The Knicks are
rotten.
They're not the team in New York, I think, this year. It's going to be Brooklyn.
Oh, all the lights will be on Brooklyn.
Yeah, it's all going to be on Brooklyn, and Brooklyn's going to have the better squad. I mean, and I think so. I'm going to want to make a gentleman's bet on that.
Okay.
Brooklyn ends up. Do you want to have a better record or goes farther? Goes farther?
No, better record. No, just heads up. They have to play each other, right?
Yeah, but I mean, matchups. I mean, I'm talking. Let's say who goes farther
heads
into
up.
the playoffs.
Heads up. You take the Knicks. You take Brooklyn. I'll take the Knicks. Just heads up. That's who the better team is. I don't give a shit how far they go.
But see, this is the thing I'm worried about.
Yep,
well, no.
So no faith in your Knicks?
Well, no.
I mean, your Nets.
I think that at home it could be very big because there's a huge Knicks fan base. And when you're playing in Brooklyn, there's going to be a lot of fucking people still coming there for Knicks fans. I think that Brooklyn will go farther, deeper into the playoffs than the Knicks.
I don't think either team will make the playoffs.
I think Brooklyn will.
Let's do that. You think Brooklyn will make the playoffs?
I think Brooklyn will make the playoffs.
I will tell you they won't.
Okay. Brooklyn's going to make the playoffs.
Not going to happen.
Now, next team, 76ers.
Picked up Bynum for a year.
This.
How much is it going to cost to keep him? And has he grown up? I've been a large proponent of him and his bad attitude. I think the child needs to grow up quickly. If he thinks he's going to be the face of this franchise, it doesn't need to be with a diaper on and crying and whining. There's no place for that shit. Grow up quick.
I'm a Lakers fan. I am one of the few people that I think Andrew Bynum is super fucking talented. I think because he's young and he was immature, I think there's a lot of when Andrew Bynum played to his potential, he was right there with Dwight Howard. Maybe not as good of a defensive player, but I still think he's younger. I think that he didn't handle the fact that they always were trying to dish him off. And I think now that he's away from L.A., I think he might fucking prove. I'm going to go out on a limb, and I'm going to say number 1 in the East is the Heat. Number 2 is the Sixers.
Okay. This is what I want. Being a new Philadelphian, this is what I want to see from Bynum.
I'm coming up all day. You're getting tickets to that shit.
If they have the same type of tickets the Wizards do, then you're right. If they don't, then no. I only go to sporting events one way now.
When they play the Lakers, we got to get tickets.
I only go to sporting events one way.
I'm just not eating sausage. That didn't come out right, but like
no, not at all.
Yeah, I mean,
you had to
sausage.
be there.
Yeah.
You could have seen us on TV. Anyway.
Okay.
Here's what I want from Bynum.
Okay.
I want Bynum to come into training camp with a chip on his shoulder, his mouth shut, playing for a contract, showing the city of Philadelphia why he deserves to have the money. And number 2, his ultimate goal should be to play in the NBA Finals versus the Lakers, and he should be the reason to win. If I'm Andrew Bynum, that's my motivation for this season. I can't speak for him, but I'm telling you right now, if you want to prove to the Lakers why they should have held on to you and told Dwight Howard to keep your ass in Orlando, now's your chance, young man.
The only problem is just George is not Andrew Bynum because he's white, 18 inches too short, and
way broke.
Yeah,
compared to that cat.
Wallet.
So
now let's move on to the West.
The Wild Wild West.
Spurs, best coach in the game, best coach in the game, and like you said, he will have them back up in there battling again.
Number 1 seed, I'm not sure about, but I think the Spurs will be in the playoffs.
Yeah,
I don't think they'll be 1,
but they'll be top 3.
They'll be. Yeah, I think the 2 teams below the Spurs will be
1 and 2 or 2 and 1.
And when we get to that 3rd team, I'll explain to you why I think it's going to happen.
Okay.
Which I'm looking forward to. Spurs have added no one. They've added some draft picks, no one real big, bench depth. They're still going to show up with Parker, Gary Neal, some cat named Leonard Dunker, and Thiago Splitter.
But what the Spurs sometimes lack in just really true talent, they just always
hustle.
Play as a unit, as a team. They're the best coach and team, and the key word is team. They just play great as a unit.
They don't hesitate to make the extra pass to get to the ball to the guy who will knock down the shot. They're just
it's so funny because when they're struggling, there's always a player. One night it'll be Parker stepping up. The next night it'll be Ginobili stepping up. The next night it'll be Duncan stepping up. There's always somebody that fucking comes to the rescue on that squad. Unfortunately, they've just fell short the last few years, but they'll be in the top 3.
Yeah.
The Thunder, the young fucking guns of the fucking NBA. I mean, there's no doubt that it's a very good chance we could see them back in the NBA Finals again this year. I don't think so because
I think the Heat laid the groundwork on how to beat them.
I think you're exactly right, and I think the next team we talk about
Has potential to.
And I'll tell you what.
How long is it going to take him to gel? That's my only concern. So because we watched how long it took with the Heat. Everyone gave the Heat shit. You got to remember, the first time you had the big three together in Miami, they went to the NBA Finals.
Right.
And people still bitched and said they weren't a cohesive unit. The next year they went to the NBA Finals and they won the bitch. Yeah. So with that said, we're now talking about the Lakers in the third place out the West.
No, we're talking about the Lakers, and I can kind of educate you guys a little bit on the Lakers. Well, obviously, we know they added Dwight Howard. Obviously, they added Steve Nash. So their projected 5 is going to be Steve Nash, Kobe Bryant, Dwight Howard, Pau Gasol.
Worried about his back.
Right. Antoine Jameson will start then. And then World Meta Peace. I mean, they've got Jameson now being their 6th man. Now, this is the thing. What they're doing right now is they're going to run the Princeton offense. So what that's going to do is it's going to say George is good at one thing and I'm good at one thing.
I'm good at everything.
George is good at everything and I'm good at some things. But Nash, for example, when he was playing in Phoenix, really had to fucking do a lot.
Now he doesn't.
Now he doesn't. He can literally, this offense will focus on his strengths. It'll focus also on Kobe's strength. It will also focus on Dwight Howard's strengths in the post, and it'll focus on Gasol's strengths. So that all of a sudden, go ahead.
What's the baby bull strength again?
Baby bull?
Yeah, baby Ferdinand.
Probably that 10 to 15 foot jumper, because now you got somebody up in the middle.
Right, because he doesn't have to rebound anymore. Yeah. He can put his skirt back on and go out to the elbow.
There you go. Yeah, right. And I'm going to be the first one to agree with George. But I think, like you say, it's going to take some time for them to gel. But I think if they do gel, it could be really exciting finals if they meet the Heat.
Because I'm going to tell you what, now they have somebody down low to deal with Ibaka and Perkins.
Yep.
And it's going to take Ibaka and Perkins to deal with Dwight Howard. If Dwight Howard's 100%.
Yeah.
His back hurt him enough where he bowed out of the playoffs. Now, I don't know what he had done to his back. Mm-hmm. I don't know why he waited till the playoffs to have it done last season.
I don't know.
But to me, to all of a sudden, oh, look, it's the playoffs. My back hurts.
Yeah,
to me, I'm not saying anything. It just looks fishy.
It just looks fishy. Yeah, I agree.
So I'm assuming that the back injury was not that serious.
No. It was. And they said that he's actually doing stuff now, like plyometric type movements now. So he's actually working. He hasn't got the green light yet, but hey. Now let's move on to the Grizzlies.
Yeah, the number 4 team coming out of the West. And remember, this is all last year.
Yeah.
The Grizzlies let OJ Mayo go, which, dude, there's only one basketball. And these other names, Mike Conley, Tony Allen, Rudy Gay, Zach Randolph, and Marc Gasol, with those 5 guys, to me, OJ just doesn't fit in there.
No, he just doesn't.
I expect the Grizzlies to be right back in the mix. What?
George is talking and I'm looking at his notes as I go down and I see the next thing. he put this note in here just to get me fucking pissed off, right?
No, I'm just saying.
I'm gonna go right into it.
We're skipping over the Grizzlies.
Fuck the Grizzlies because
Kevin doesn't have an opinion on the Grizzlies.
I don't have an opinion on the Grizzlies because it's not gonna really matter.
I'm
sorry, all you friends
caps.
from Memphis, but your team's not gonna be in the finals. The Clippers, okay? George has the Clippers. Knowing that I'm a diehard LA Laker fan, real team of LA. And then he puts laughing out loud because he knows this is going to make my blood pressure rise to the point where I'll start stroke, man. But I'm scared of him. I mean, because it's like, you know what?
They're rotten, dude.
But, man, you know who scares me?
Billups. To me, Chauncey Billups is the piece they were missing.
Well, they got Paul, they got Billups, they got Butler, they got Griffin Jordan. Now everybody's coming back and they're healthy. And now, you forgot, they got Odom. They got a couple pieces.
He ended up going back to the Clippers? I thought he was out of the league, period.
He's a Clipper.
Oh.
I thought he's a Clipper.
Maybe. You let us know.
Yeah. I think, now, go ahead and talk to people.
On to the Nougats. I think, put it this way, the Clippers out the West, they got a good chance. Yeah. The Nougats, on the other hand, they lost some depth with Harrington and Afalo leaving. Their projected 5 are Lawson, Andre Iguodala, some dude Gallinari, someone, and JaVale McGee. I think we're all going to sit around and just wait to see the mistakes McGee makes because that's all we seemed to do last year. I like the Nuggets. They played free-spirited, running.
Can I cut you off real quick?
All right, bye.
No. Blake Griffin, Lamar Odom is coming in behind him off the bench. Coming off the bench behind Caron Butler, Grant Hill, and Matt Barnes because Matt Barnes is now, and then off of Jordan, the center, you got Ronnie Turieff. You got like 3 former Lakers.
That's what LA's back, bitches.
Anyway, so go ahead. I'm sorry.
So anyway, that's the Nuggets. I don't think there's a whole lot to talk about there. I think they'll be in it again. Again, they didn't. I don't think they lost a whole lot with Harrington on a follow. I mean, they did lose depth. So if one of their starters go down, that's going to hurt. Yeah. But I don't know. George Karl's a good coach.
Yeah, he is. And I really like George Karl a lot, just as a person.
He's just a wrap in Dallas.
Yeah, the Mavericks
they are not making the playoffs.
I don't know what Mark Cuban was doing.
He put all of his eggs in 2 baskets, and both those baskets weren't there.
And then he didn't. He started last year with just destroying the team, man, with not signing Tyson Griffin. I mean, he just has done.
Griffin.
I mean, Tyson Chandler.
That man was a fighter.
Still over in MMA world, but Tyson Chandler. And I don't. To be honest with you, I'm skipping right over. It's not much to talk about.
Darren Collison. They're going to start Darren Collison, OJ Mayo, Sean Marion, Nowitzki, and Chris Kaman. Again, with Mayo on your team, dude. Yeah. Nowitzki, that's not.
Now the Jazz. The Jazz are always in it because they.
Let me give you one reason why they won't.
They just don't have any depth.
Mo Williams.
Yeah.
That Bama is a magician come the playoffs.
They made the playoffs last year. It was a stretch, and I think so. They'll be lucky to make it this year. Now,
so that's our top. That's how we just went over the playoff teams.
From last year.
Give us your sleeper. Who's going to make the playoffs this year in the NBA on the East and the West that didn't make it last year?
Yeah. I'm definitely going to say I think Brooklyn's going to be in there. George doesn't agree with me.
No.
On the West, in the East, I think it could be Brooklyn. On the West, I think maybe the Rockets.
Yeah, we'll get to see Jeremy Lin attempt to play a full season. That should be interesting.
Anyway, we are out. Bam.